Financial Friday. I'm back in my studio home. I know I've been in the mountain house a little bit, but it feels good to be back on camera, baby. So that being said, I'm here with my boys. You already know what it's about. You already know what we talk about. And if you don't, let me remind you of two things before we get started. So first things first, we are not responsible for your financial choices unless, of course, you are a client of ours. That being said, do not make any decisions based off what we say here. And if you do, we are not legally responsible. That's our little disclaimer. So, don't go off and say Rico, Glenn, or Cam said to do this, that, and the third on Financial Friday. Because I will not take credit for it unless you want to share them winnings. If you do take that being said, if you are looking for financial advice, we are licensed fiduciaries, so you can contact us offline, and we can talk about your situation individually to help you if you so choose. Second thing, the way that we operate here is every week one of us will choose three articles to discuss that we feel are important for you to know, to be educated, and to help you be more situated for the future financially. And honestly, just put yourself in a position to not have to work at Walmart when you're 80 years old. So, God bless the guys that do. I always say hello. That being said, what's up, gents? How is your week going?
Week is going good, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a super busy week. So this is a good end to the week because obviously I love giving value, helping people out, and yeah, excited about this. G, you
Thanks.
look
Yeah.
so G, you just look so official,
I
brother.
wish I had style like
Yeah.
G. I just don't.
Hey,
Man,
well, I had to hang up the military uniform, so now I get to break out the blazers and the V-necks and button up. So, no, yeah, I echo what Rico was saying, man. It's been a very, very busy week, but productively busy. And so, same thing. I share. I mean, obviously, you guys know I equally share the passion to educate and add value on here. So happy to
Yeah.
be here.
G reads a lot of books too. That's why he's got a library in his background.
Yo, hey, hey, some people don't even know what these are.
I don't. I
we
don't.
used to have to get those. We're showing our age. That's
Yeah,
pre-Google. That's
yeah.
pre-Google.
Yeah, I knew my mom was making it when she started ordering the 22
Man,
encyclopedia.
the full set, not just a couple letters. Yeah.
That master furniture.
A through Z.
So nah,
so this week was G's week. So as I pull up your article, G, why don't you kind of talk about the first one and why you chose it?
yeah, for sure. So this first one, if anyone has ever heard of it or not heard of it, DraftKings. DraftKings. So anyway, I picked this article specifically because number one, people gamble, and let me put this disclaimer out there. This talk is not to encourage you to start gambling or continue gambling. And so that's number one. So this is more from a
The
financial
king of
perspective.
disclaimers.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, because some people would just take it and just run with it and be like, wait. Like you got to listen to the first 11 minutes. Um, but no, but DraftKings, two reasons why I chose this. Number one, because people do gamble. And then the second reason is because people invest in people who gamble, right? And so from that aspect, I thought this article was pretty interesting. So obviously it talks about DraftKings stock rally on earnings surprise raise sales outlook. So for those who have never heard of DraftKings and may want to do some further research, so they're based out in Boston, Massachusetts, but they are a fantasy and sports betting platform, right? And so if that's kind of your wheelhouse, that's your lane, or you're interested in it, you can kind of do your own research with that. But for me, the reason why I kind of gravitated to this is from like an investment standpoint. Like, so obviously we talk stocks, we talk, investments. And so my first question that I want to kind of put on the platform, and then we can kind of dive into it a little bit later. But for some of our viewers is, as an investor, would you invest in this particular company? As I could get ready to kind of give the framework. And then so that's the first question. Now, here's some of the content from the article, right? It talked about how, some adjusted earnings, 14% or 14 cents per share compared to an adjustment loss of 29 cents from last year. And so regarding the revenue leaped 88%, right? And so there was also an interview done by the CFO, so the chief financial officer. And oftentimes when companies are growing or when they're thinking about growth, they have to think about their client base, right? Or one of
Mhm.
the things that they think about is the client base. So from that aspect, he's like, hey, regarding new clients, we are very intentional about how we're getting new clients, number
Mhm.
one. But then, as far as the clients that we already have, we are focusing on how do we monetize off of those clients, number one. But then number two, while specifically they didn't talk about AI, I'm pretty sure they're probably are utilizing AI, because he mentioned that their focus is product innovation.
Mhm.
Right. So that was one of the things, less promotions. And then the third thing was higher hold from better bet mixes. And so with that being said, the clientele increased 44%, right? So they jumped to 2.1 million players that are kind of within their client base. So that's kind of the framework of that. I thought it was pretty, like I said, very interesting, because as I was reading this, the question I asked myself was, hey, would you invest in this? And then
Mhm.
secondly, I wanted to hear y'all thoughts on it.
So first of all, people been gambling since the beginning of time. Let's just be 100 about it. Humans
Mhm.
are intentionally competitive, and betting has been around. I mean, since whenever. Back in the day, there was gladiators and animal fights, and honestly, just fights. And so it's an industry that will honestly never go away. I do think that it was smart of them to concentrate on the retention piece. I think a
Mhm.
lot of companies it's funny because in a hiring aspect, a lot of companies failed to do that, right? When COVID kicked off a lot of other things, they were just like, oh, it's okay. Everybody's looking for a job. And then now there's a problem with retention in a lot of companies. And so the fact that they took that to their customer base, which a lot of companies already know how to, but they found it better to monetize on the customers that have already kind of given into the platform and keeping them, because that's what you want to do. It's honestly, it's not always about gaining a million customers. It's about ultimately selling a product to that same customer 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times.
Mhm.
Look what Apple did. The iPhone did it. For the last 14 iPhones, everybody got one because of ease of function and so forth. Now they've seen it decline, but it's been what 15 years since.
Right.
So would I if it was my money, if I was a betting man, pun intended.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you.
Um, I'm not a betting man, but I guess let's for me, let's break this down. If we're looking at it, this isn't like privatized prisons or anything like that. This is a choice,
Right.
you know. So if it, I mean, now I understand people are like, oh, it's a vice. Listen, it's a choice. Privatized prisons is a totally different systematic thing because they're like, oh, I can see it being the same. No, it's not the same.
Mhm.
So would I invest in it? I think I look at it the breakdown. Like Kim said, it's very rarely that you have companies that are looking to generate new customers efficiently. Most people would just look to get new customers in any way possible. And then what they said is at the same time, right? So
Mhm.
simultaneously, they're retaining and monetizing existing clients.
Facts.
That's crazy. Think about it. How
Mhm.
many tech companies or other companies could learn from DraftKings? Because, I mean, as we're looking at it, they said that, like you said, the monthly players they increase. Um, they expect to achieve before Q4 is over with, achieve positive EBITDA. People are like, what is EBITDA? That's earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. Okay. And then if you do the adjusted EBITDA, right, which is basically excluding the money or the compensation we pay in stocks, then they're looking to have that positive as well. So it's positive all the way around. So really from
Mhm.
a business aspect, they're focusing on the things that they need to focus on to actually grow
Mhm.
their business. Roughly since May, they're roughly about 50.1% higher in their stock share price.
Mhm.
So would I invest? Yeah, because if they stay on the same road, I mean, seemingly they were at like $21 in May. Now they're like 31.74. That's a win.
Right.
And like I said, it's not something that's like ultimately like, now do I bet? No, I don't bet. But then again, I don't have an Apple iPhone either, but I got Apple stock, you know? So I'm just sitting and thinking about it, which by the way, Apple, you failed me. when you're throwing the iPhone. I'm not gonna lie. It was the happiest I've ever been losing money because I kind of wanted to. Never mind. Anyway, um, so yes, I would put money on these guys because of their focus in business and the way that they're seeking to gain and create, additional business. They have the right mindset for a business. Whoever's in that think tank is some
Yeah.
pretty intelligent people because they're focusing on the right stuff. So kudos to them.
Yeah.
Ooh, you got a kudos from Rico.
Yeah.
If you're watching DraftKings, hit us up for a comment in the background.
They did it.
And we're gonna have to cut that clip and tag them in it, man.
Oh, I mean, I'll bippity boppity make it so.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right, next.
No, so real quick before I even go to the next, before I would invest the investment question was more so like stocks, right? And so obviously if I had an investment, I'm gonna just say if I had an investment group or investment team, this will be one that I would talk to my team about. So anyway, to the next topic.
He's like, if I had, and then
If I were to by chance, per chance, be investing in a
hypothetically,
brokerage,
Yeah.
I might consider, right?
Yeah. Yes. That might be one of them. But so with that being said, obviously we're talking about things impacting the economy. This next article specifically I had chose because of its impact in the economy, right?
Wait,
And
you didn't choose
how,
because of me?
what'd you say? What happened?
what?
I said he didn't choose it because of me. I
Oh.
said, no.
Oh, no. These are all selfish, this one. No, I'm just kidding. No, but yeah, because of its impact on it in the community, right? So the title of it, can you go to the top real quick? It talks about gas prices hit 2023 high as oil prices, spur concern of inflation uptick. And so because of how impacting this is to people's day-to-day lives, right? From gassing up their vehicles or boats or jet skis, to air travel, to even investments, right, et cetera. So that was the reason why I wanted to talk about this today, because it impacts so many, right? So yesterday, gas hit an all-time high. The national average for a gallon of gas across the nation was previously was $3.82, and then it was up. It's up now as of yesterday, 29 cents, right?
Mhm.
And so from a month ago. And so some folks are like, we get so used to just gassing up and like complaining about the gas price, or like, oh, I'm glad that it's 20 cents cheaper today, and we just kind of go about our way.
Just
And
eat
so I wanted the opportunity to bring this on our platform, because one of the things we do is talk about things and provide value, and from an education aspect as well. So some of the people may ask, like, so what are some things that are causing these things, right? So it talked about how there's an upward movement, that is largely due to the U.S. crude prices, right? We have to keep an eye out on what's actually happening in oil, right? There were tons of articles out there this week on oil and everything going on with that. And I know Rico enjoys reading on the oil as well. So a small piece of it was inspired by knowing that you enjoy those reads. And then the third thing I want to mention is, we have to not only just keep an eye out on it, but the price of oil is, often, correlated with the dollar and the long-term treasury yields.
Mhm.
And obviously we've spoken separately on that on previous episodes, but I wanted to bring that to the front, because again, this is something that impacts us day to day. And so I wanted to hear you guys' thoughts on this particular article.
So before I start, because y'all know I notice everything.
Mhm.
Y'all notice the name of this thing is
Yeah.
Tasty Trade. This is like the OF of trading. I'm telling you, they got a cherry and stuff. I'm sorry, I had to squirrel that for a second. that being said,
Hey, you got to know your audience, right?
you gotta know your audience, man. I just think it's funny that they chose that one. But anyways, I digress. So gas prices, man, they go up, they go down, but yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, what what are we supposed to do right now? I mean, Rico, we were talking about this the other week when we were talking about gas prices with like the meeting we went to at Rodeo. They're like, oh, when are you gonna have an ambulance that's electric?
Mhm.
Well, unfortunately, the technology is there, so like we do honestly just kind of have to eat it right now. I mean, I know I fill up, I don't even pay attention no more. I can't because I need the gas. Unfortunately, I have to go where I'm going. There's no point in being pissed off about it. And I'm not going to go waste gas to get gas 2 cents cheaper. Like, realistically, I'm getting gas on base anyway. So I'm kind of lucky because it is pretty cheap there. But if I'm off base, you know what I mean? And so, um, but it is going to increase everything. Like, one of the things, um, that we talked about. Oh God, what was I looking at the other day? I forgot what it was, but something else that had kind of like that secondary effect, right? Is initially it's like, oh, cool, this thing went up a little bit, but then, oh, I'm sorry, the UPS agreement that just got won. So they're talking about the average UPS worker, which don't get me wrong, get your money, bro. Is like $49 an hour. So the average UPS worker is going to make almost six figures a year. And so the question is like, although it's great that they are getting paid, especially because of the conditions that they work in, what does that mean for shipping costs now? So that's the same example. We see gas go up, we see gas go down. Luckily, shipping doesn't fluctuate like that. But honestly, who's to say everything's just not going to increase here in a little while? And with the BRICS nation and what's going on over there, there's a lot of kind of unknown factors when it comes to what prices are going to look like for things that we need on a daily basis right now.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
So we had gas prices. First and foremost, commodities is my thing. People know that. So I made money off the gas going up, but I understand because then I got to put it right back out, right? So it's not really like. But then I do get kind of happy because I look around and I see everybody at the gas. I'm like, yeah, okay.
Rico makes money off everything.
Yeah.
So this is what I will say. You have to start thinking about, well, not only is it inversely connected to the actual yields, right? So the treasury notes and the dollar, right? The long-term yields. You have to start thinking about how that affects also, there's what they call opportunity costs, right? So that's also directly connected to logistical stuff. So during COVID, if you remember, a lot of the prices and the things that we were paying for, not only because of inflation, because we were printing a whole bunch of money, but it was also because logistically we couldn't, right? Things weren't squared away. And so it was costing more money just to move things. That wasn't only just with the gas prices, it was we were paying people. So now you have both of those things along with inflation, right? And an increased cost of gas. And so what you get is almost 3x to your cost of moving things around. And so that moves over to the consumer, which is us. I want people to think about something, and this is just a really very simple explanation of this. How much does your stamps cost? Like regular stamps for mail. How much do they cost?
They used to be 25 cents. Now
That's
they're like
correct.
$1
That's correct.
something.
In 1999, it was 27 cents. And I remember that because I used to buy them. Yes, I'm old.
He's like, I used to send all the mails.
I used to send them, yes, because there was very little internet, guys, back in those days. But yes, so it was 27 cents. It's now how much? Anybody know?
$1.31.
It's about 65
Oh, damn it.
cents. 65 cents. But still, think about it.
That'd be true.
Right? That's 3x, more than 3x. And so what I'm trying to tell you is that it doesn't seem like much, but if you buy millions and billions of stamps, that's a bunch of money. Well,
True.
it has to go up because of the way things are moving. And so as you think about gas, also lastly, there's something that was in this article that hit me, and I really just wasn't thinking about it. But growing up in Texas, right, in Houston, obviously in the Gulf Coast, it's a huge producer of gas, right, of oil, crude oil. And so it said these prices are partially due to as well the heat, right? Just the climate, things that are going on with the climate. Well, why
Yeah.
would you say that? Well, in the plant, if you've never worked in a plant, I've worked in a plant for years as a chemical engineer, it was hot.
Hella
And people
hot.
stop working. You literally have to stop people from working, which then causes issues with production.
Mhm.
Also, the plant, the actual equipment and stuff like that can't handle 110, 115 heat index. It just can't work like that.
Yeah.
And so that causes issues with production. And then they said another big thing that could cause issues is a major hurricane. Well, you're like, how does that work? Well, because the Gulf of Texas, right, produces a whole bunch of crude oil, and also Louisiana, and that's where all the hurricanes hit. And so you have a hurricane, and then that stops production on top of added higher gas prices. So what does that mean? Because then, right, supply and demand, you have a greater demand, higher gas prices, and they'll probably be higher by then. You get it. It's a whole big crapshoot. I will say this: if you haven't already, Exxon's earnings were higher. Chevron's will probably be higher. Like I said, it probably the second episode.
Yeah, it was.
We're not telling you what to do. We're strictly giving our opinions.
I'm talking to my two guys because they're like, "Why do you like commodities?" Well,
that's why.
I think Rico's like 10 for 10 for the last like 10 projections, the past 10 projections. You know what I'm saying? Like I was just in a meeting, and I was just like, the person I was talking to, they were talking about how they're a winner. They have this winner mentality. And I was like, you speaking my language, right? If I know that I have a guy on my team that can produce 10 for 10, why wouldn't I leverage the knowledge? Why wouldn't I leverage the skill set, right?
I mean, we leverage it because we talk to each other. I don't know if y'all know, but us three, we all talk to each other. So we're making money. But, that's just us. It's not important.
You got, so just real quick, speaking on that, your circle is super important. Because I was talking to my boy Khalid, and he was just like, hey, did you hear about this? And I was like, yeah, I heard about that. He's like, you hear about this? I was like, yeah, I heard about that. And he was like, how is it that you do all the things that you do, yet you can still, because that's honestly what he does most of the time is focus on kind of financial stuff. And I said, I don't do it myself, bro. I said, I got like Rico, I got Glenn, I got you, I got Net. Like, yeah. I have 7 different people any given time feeding this and vice versa. And I was like, but ultimately, like 7 brains is better than 1.
Kim said the walking computer or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, these comments where someone's making fun of me, that's Net.
Okay.
All right. So last,
I don't believe it. I don't believe
you don't believe it.
They didn't have a name on it.
I really don't like the whole no name thing. I got to research that.
Work on that.
Yeah. I'm not a fan. I know. Maybe we should ask. Is it Diana? Because her name shows up, so she's done something to show.
I believe she goes through my page. I don't know that, but I think that's what's happening. I don't know. I think that's what's happening.
Got you. All right. Well, Bitcoin it up, bro.
So the last one, I'm actually going to go in reverse order in my notes. I'm gonna throw out one word, and so first and foremost, I picked this particular article specifically for Cam and Rico. So I did have one in the bucket for y'all. So in reverse order, I'm gonna throw out one word: Ethereum. Right. You guys have heard this on our platform before. The second thing that I want to say is U.S. equity markets down tick and bonds are up. And then the third thing I'll say, is inflation is not falling. Quote, this is a quote from the article. Inflation is not falling as fast, as quickly as people hope for. I feel like that's been in every article for the last 8-9 months. Like
pretty much.
And so, but with that being said, back to the title, Bitcoin slips 1% back to 29,000 as equity markets reverse. Now, some causes. Number one, you guys I'm sure you guys have already seen, but our viewers may have seen that there was a report that the government put out there about adding jobs, right? So there was 187,000 jobs that was added. And so the other big piece as far as calls, right? The Federal Reserve hiking rates again, right? So it took a pause for a quick month, and then they're back up. So I brought this up because I know we have a lot of people within our circles who invest in Bitcoin or kind of in that world, and so I wanted to bring this to the table in case anyone is interested in the Bitcoin space, but they have yet to understand it or how to figure it out. So, and then a last thing in the article, it talked about CoinDex Market Index. Mm-hmm. And so for those that don't know what it is, it's a broad measure of market performance. And so I wanted to leave that there on the table for you guys, because I would like to hear. So let's say I'm new to the Bitcoin world. So you guys are talking about this article. Like, how does this make sense? Or what could you guys share regarding the Bitcoin world to anyone that's newly entering the Bitcoin world?
So first of all, I don't know anything about this because all I can pay attention to is that the government admitted there was aliens this week. So Rico's like, I'm done with camp today. so if you're new to like the Bitcoin cryptocurrency space, and I know Rico's going to touch on this. At the end of the day, you have to understand your tokenomics. I know Rico's going to talk about that. I'm going to let him talk about it. But in a general sense, the one thing I will say is don't be fooled by shiny object syndrome.
Mhm.
And when it comes to cryptocurrency, it is a long game. I know Dogecoin and all these other things have told you that this, you're going to hit. That almost never happens. Like scientifically, it's just not, it's just like the stock market, unfortunately. Like, but I would almost say that the way Warren Buffett thinks is like even more so applicable when it comes to cryptocurrency, because you have to know what these companies are doing and what the projected usefulness is of what they are creating. So that being said, it's a rabbit hole that you can tumble down for a really long time. But in the general sense is don't get shiny object syndrome when it comes to crypto.
Gotcha.
I totally agree. Tokenomics is number one. You always hear me say it. Cam's right. I say it every single time we talk about anything that's crypto related. It's the same thing that I do with research of companies, right? And the strengths. And the same thing, and I got that from Warren Buffett, actually going in, looking up the CEO. What is his actions? What is his character like? Going in and looking up the utilization for the coins or the tokens, right? I'm seeing what they're going to be used for. Is it a meme coin and it's just crap and they're just people just, hyping it and you're just trying to pump and dump? Or is it an actual use basis? And then if you understand that, then you can understand if it's a short term, long term, mid-term, right? So Bitcoin itself is a long term hold. If you missed out on it gaining to where it is now, then it's going to go up some more. It's going to have next year, and it'll be right. So there's things going on. You got to really understand the movements and be tokenomics, like really studying the economic aspect of these coins. And then Ethereum, they were talking about right now, it's trying to basically reestablish itself.
Mhm.
There's a whole bunch of cases that have occurred. It took a big hit, obviously, with some major coins that were on its actual blockchain being rated or claimed as SEC. They actually rate them as like these are securities, right? And so that took a big hit. Gas fees, things like that. XRP getting its court case that made Ethereum take a big hit as well. XRP is the next thing. People just need to kind of pay attention to it. But let me say this. The biggest thing out of this article that I noticed out of everything, and I don't know if they probably glanced over it. The government went back and fixed June's employment numbers. I want to stay on that because if you remember, I spoke to you guys and I said these guys are lying. Remember,
Yeah,
I was
I remember that.
These job numbers don't make sense. Something's not making sense here. Oh, and they went back and just quietly let me fix them up and clean it up. That's what I'm trying to tell people. Like you really got to be on your stuff. Because if you're out in the world and you see things and you're like, okay, how is it? This isn't making sense. These numbers, let's just say it. The government's inflating numbers, right? Because they don't want to say that you're in a recession. By definition, we've been in a recession for 2 quarters. By definition of what a recession is. They don't want to say that, right? Because it's about to be election time and it'll just throw off and then all that other stuff. But that's what's going on. See that?
Yeah.
Government Friday morning. Yeah. They had to go back and change
I love
it.
Zoom, baby.
In addition, June's originally reported 209,000 job gain was revised to lower to 185.
We spoke specifically on that.
We did. We were like, this just doesn't seem right.
Yeah, it's funny. It was funny because actually, I think I was the one that picked that article because I remember my notepad when I wrote that number down. I circled it in red, and I remember Rico commenting on that. And the funny thing is, today, the article that I originally was going to pick for this third talk was going to be on the jobs, but I was just like, nah, I remember like those numbers just didn't seem right. which is why I went away from it and decided to do this one.
You know what we should do? We
That's the
should look
job.
at that same
That's
article
what I'm trying to tell
and
you.
see if they we should
Huh?
look at that same article and see if they did one of those little update things, that says like updated as of August 3rd or whatever. Oh,
Sure.
we gotta find that.
Yeah, because we got to find an article because I saw the numbers in and I said they're lying.
Yeah.
Like I was like, they're just lying. It's good politics. So you got to stay on top of that. The last thing in this article that I'll talk about is that the altcoins. I'm heavy into the altcoins myself. It fell more than 1.3% overall, and bond yields increased, stating that stuff like crypto and equities and things. It said equities took a tick down. What that's saying is people don't want to take as much risk,
Yeah.
right? So that means you should watch us on Money Monday so then you can understand how to possibly leverage the less risky and more established things that gain money. I'm just saying. This is thought.
Just same
That's
time on Mondays on
3
IG.
p.m. Yeah, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Just saying. Well,
Yep.
we are at time, gentlemen. So as we let go, G, this was your week. So so lead us out with last comments, bro.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, for everyone who tuned in today or rewatching, appreciate you guys listening in. And so these are three great articles that I picked myself. No, I'm just kidding. No, these are
My name is
three-
Glenn Davis.
three very, very important topics that we wanted to bring to the foresight. Obviously, again, we encourage you to do your own research. Continue plugging in to everything that we have going on. Like I said, overall, our goal is just simply to provide value. We're going to continue to do that. If we have one person in the seat, or will we have 100,000 in the seat? And so, with that being said, it's always good talking to you, Cam and Rico. Appreciate the opportunity to have a voice on this platform. And so, that's all I have.
Rico, last minute comments.
Money Monday, 3 p.m. on Mondays on Instagram Live. You can log on to either one of our platforms and see that going live at 3 p.m. On Tuesdays, you got a break. You get a break from us, right? But then on Wednesdays, we got Wealth Wednesdays. That comes out. Usually it's on YouTube only. We provide the link. You can check that out. Make sure you subscribe, like, share that. Okay. Thursdays, we have the Growth Hour. That's at 11:30 PST with Latrina. Phenomenal. Love this last it was phenomenal yesterday. She's doing her thing. Shouts out to her. And then Thursday evenings we have at 5 p.m. PST we have Taylor Talk. It's just a talk from a different level, man. Cut from a different cloth. We're going to talk about all things finance, love, all kinds of stuff, right? And they put up the picture. And then Friday, of course, you got Financial Fridays. And I'm sorry, let me go back to Tuesday. On Tuesdays, when we give you a break, go check out, put up the L3. Put up the L3. L3 Perspective with my guys, Glenn Davis and Coach Cam. And I want you guys to listen because that is life, love, and leadership. And they talk about those three things, but how they intertwine with each other, how you can develop yourself. Season 1's done, but I know y'all didn't watch all the episodes. So go back and watch all the episodes. And then do me a favor. If you got any information or you agree with us or you like this format, go ahead and share this with 5 people, no matter the platform, whatever it is. It could be LinkedIn, it could be Facebook, Instagram, wherever you saw us. I think it's streaming on my YouTube as well. Wherever you saw us, take it, share it. We appreciate you.
Facts. So I just thought about that. I was like, why don't I just put the overlay? So the things that we talked about, here you go, Wealth Wednesdays. All right. Money Mondays. You know what I'm saying? I don't have yours, Rico, so I guess send it to me for the Carlton. And then
Okay.
L3 Perspective. This is one of our last episodes. Check it out. And then obviously you are tuned in right now to Financial Friday. So that being said, we appreciate y'all. We'll see you next Friday, but more importantly, we'll see you on Monday. So have a good weekend.
Okay.
We'll see y'all later. Peace.